Welcome to the second episode of the Literary Therapeutic Language Journey. In the first episode, we turned toward ourselves, a quiet first step inward. Today, we take the next step. We ask, what stabilizes me? What carries me when life changes? When roles shift? When certainties become fragile? Two voices accompany us. Rainer Maria Rilke, with his inner spaciousness, and Rilke Andreas-Salomé, with her psychological clarity. Together they show us that identity does not arise from outer stability, but from inner access. From something within us that remains, even when the outer world moves. Breathe in and out. Introduction. The question of what carries us. Sometimes stability does not begin with a decision, but with a breath. With a quiet moment in which we sense that something within us is seeking ground. This episode invites you to give that inner seeking space. To ask yourself, what truly carries me? What remains when the outer world wavers? Why inner access stabilize? We all know moments when the outer world becomes uncertain. Roles shift, relationships change, life paths rearrange themselves. In such moments, we look for stability, yet true stability rarely arises where we first expected. Not in the outer world, not in control, not in expectations, but an inner axis that carries us even when everything else is in motion. This episode invites you to sense this axis, not as a concept, but as an inner experience. Context. Rilke Andreas-Salomé. Rilke Andreas-Salomé was a writer, psychoanalyst, and one of the most insightful voices of her time. She wrote about freedom, the inner life, and the axis that holds a human being upright. Her texts are clear, psychologically precise, and full of warmth. She shows us that identity is not only a feeling but also a structure. Reading. Rainer Maria Rilke. From Letters to a Young Poet, First Letter. You look outward, and that is what you should not do right now. No one can advise you or help you. There is only one way. Go into yourself. Go into yourself and examine the depths from which your life springs. The Creator must be a world unto himself, and find everything within. These words open an inner space, a space in which identity is not explained, but felt. Kontext: Rilke Andreas-Salomé, Menschenkinder. The original episode leads us into a scene from Menschenkinder, a phrase in Salomé's life in which she moves between places, relationships and inner worlds. Edith, Hans Ebling, Klaus. They are not only characters but mirrors of inner movements. Longing, awakening, vulnerability, the struggle for one's own truth. The scene shows a moment of transition, identity not yet formed but possible. Language exploration, a gentle bilingual deepening. This chapter invites you to move the language of this episode, not only to understand it, but to feel it. The words we explore are not random. They come directly from the inner movements of the original episode. Rilke's turning inward, Salomé's psychological clarity, the winter landscape of Menschenkinder, the question of identity in inner access. Each world field opens a small space, a tone, a mood, a quiet inner resonance. You may speak the words softly or simply notice which one feels warm today. Word field, Identity. Was bleibt, wenn Rollen wanken? These words describe what remains within you even when the outer world shifts. Inner center. Inneres Zentrum. A place not shaped by expectations. One's own. Das eigene. What is unmistakably yours? Truth. Wahrheit. Not loud, but quiet and felt. Self-contact. Selbstkontakt. The ability to feel yourself. Sincerity. Aufrichtigkeit. An inner straightness. Inner stability. Innerer Halt. What carries you when certainties break? Example sentence: I find identity where I feel myself, not where I perform. Mini impulse. Which word feels warm today? Which one sounds like you? World field inner axis. Die Linie, die dich trägt. This word field is central to the episode. It describes the inner uprightness that Salomé observed so precisely, and that Rilke touches again and again. Axis. Achse. A line that holds you from within. Line. Linie. A subtle inner straightness. Uprightness. Aufrichtung. Rising from the inside. Center. Zentrum. The place where you gather yourself. Stability. Stabilität. Not rigid, but alive. Anchoring. Verankerung. An inner I am here. Example sentence: My inner axis lifts me quietly, even when the outer world moves. Mini impulse. Do you sense a line, a center, or an anchoring today? World field, change. Die Bewegung des Lebens. This episode speaks of transitions, shifting roles, changing relations, rearranging life paths. These words help you to describe such movements. Transformation. Wandlung. Becoming, not breaking. Transition. Übergang. A breath between two states. Letting go. Loslassen. An inner opening. Reorientation. Neuorientierung. A gentle turning. Movement. Bewegung. Life itself. Uncertainty. Ungewissheit. a space not yet formed. Example sentence: in change I seek not control but inner stability. Mini impulse: which word reflects your current life movement? Word field: winter landscape. Die Sprache der Szene. The original episode contains a strong visual world. Snow, Schnee. Silence, Stille. Birch trees, Birken. Lead grey sky, bleigrauer Himmel. Jackdaws, Dohlen. White tones, Weißtöne. Subtle color shifts, feine Farbübergänge. There are not only landscapes, there are inner states. Stillness, Stille, a space without demand. Vastness, Weite, an inner horizon. Snow, Schnee, a symbol of clarity and transition. Brightness, Helligkeit, a quiet illumination. Lead grey, Bleigrau, a state between heaviness and clarity. Birch trunks, Birkenstämme, fine lines like inner axis. Example sentence: the wide landscape reflects the inner spaciousness that can arise in change. Mini impulse: which image stays with you? Mini glossary, Schlüsselwörter der Episode. These words carry the essence of the episode. Inner axis, innere Achse. Self-contact, Selbstkontakt. Inner truth, innere Wahrheit. To sense, spüren. To align inwardly, sich innerlich ausrichten. To remain with oneself, bei sich bleiben. Inner center, inneres Zentrum. Stability from within, Stabilität von innen. Example sentence: stability from within arises when I remain with myself, even in change. Linguistic resonance, ein kleiner Moment des Nachklingens. When we let words of this episode echo within us, a small inner resonance often appears. A feeling, ein Gefühl. An image, ein Bild. A thought, ein Gedanke. A breath, ein Atemzug. A quiet uprightness, ein leises Aufrichten. Maybe you sense. A line, eine Linie. A warmth, eine Wärme. A center, ein Zentrum. A yes, ein Ja. And I am here, ein Ich bin hier. This is the quiet moment when language is not only learned, but experienced. Birkenbihl exercise. Axis. Write the word axis in the center of the page. Let your thoughts wander freely, images, colors, sensations, memories, movements, symbols, words from other languages. Do not sort. Do not judge. Just collect. Maybe a thought surprises you. Maybe a feeling appears. Maybe only a small spark. Everything is welcome. Meditation, the inner axis of the self. Make yourself comfortable. Feel for a moment that you are here, not as a role, not as a task, but as yourself. Breathe in and slowly out. Imagine entering a place within you where nothing needs to be explained. A place where you do not need to perform. A place where you may simply be. As you breathe, you may sense something within you beginning to stand upright. Not outwardly, but inwardly. A line, an axis, a quiet, unmistakable center. Perhaps it feels like warmth, perhaps like light, perhaps like a subtle pulse. Perhaps you feel nothing at all. All of it is welcome. Say inwardly, I return to myself. And then I may turn to myself. Remain here for a moment, in this quiet nearness to yourself, in this inner uprightness that is not forced but found. When you are ready, return gently with the breath. A small movement of the hands and a soft opening of the eyes. Perhaps you still sensed a trace of the inner axis we touched today. Something quiet, something that remains. In the next episode, we turn to the story of the Goose Girl, a tale of identity, loss, and truth. Until then, may the quiet truth within you accompany you. Thank you for choosing this episode. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your willingness to enter a quiet inner language journey. Thank you to everyone who loves language, discovers inner images, is touched by small sentences, sees beauty in simplicity. You are a part of this journey.